I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you wish to stay standing, people please, my brethren, please see the photos.
Will you bow your heads as I pray? Dear wise and loving Father, first, let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance, and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. Thank you for loving us even so, from your boundless and gracious nature. In the scriptures you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I'm asking that you graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in their lives, and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Give them an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of 29 Palms. It is in your most blessed name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilmember Wright,
Here.
Councilmember Scott,
Here.
Councilmember Mintz,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Klink,
Here.
Mayor Bildering,
Here.
all present.
No closed session announcement. Changes to the agenda? None. Announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on demand on the City of 29 Palms website at www.29palms.org. You may also live stream this meeting by going to the city website and clicking on Meeting Agendas link. Awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamation.
Yeah, for reach out, number 2.
There's like a shelf right here. Larry, make that happen. Presentation of feathers and fur for participation in Cash for Trash and Recycling Program, Miss Connie. So before I give you what you've earned, I missed you last meeting. Where were you?
Sick.
Okay, good answer.
Sorry.
All right. Can you please tell us where you gracious with all the cleaning?
It was 29 Palms Highway and Cienega, and the other road was Athol. I remembered this time.
How many bags?
There was not that many. It was like 6.
Big items?
Well, no, it was small stuff. A lot of real small things and digging into the bushes and stuff.
Okay.
Lots of glass.
Yes. So on behalf of the city, thank you for everything you do for the city, and not just for the trash collection and beautification of the desert, but for our furry friends. We also do a lot for them. And Burtech, 2 checks for your nonprofit and everything you do
Thank
for us.
you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Oh, yeah,
the
yes, I
hug.
know, yeah.
We gotta do the hug.
Want to do pictures? You gotta make it official for Facebook. Yeah. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to take this opportunity to recognize Reach Out Morongo Basin and their staff for their unwavering commitment and dedication to the citizens of our community. Reach Out Morongo Basin operates out of the City Senior Center to provide services to our senior community. They also provide transportation to medical appointments, shopping, educational seminars, theme parties, art and exercise programs, as well as group events and outings. They also provide referrals for supportive services and collaborate with the local food pantry to provide supplemental food services. They also ensure that those who cannot attend the daily food service in person are signed up with the Meals on Wheels program. During the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, the daily hot meal food service for the seniors in 29 Palms was suspended. The frozen meals were provided. The Reach Out Morongo Basin staff was determined to find a way to provide hot meals to the congregants. Robin and her staff immediately stepped in to create a well-balanced and nutritious menu. They went to the market, purchased the food, and cooked 3 hot meals for the seniors each week for 6 months. They also planned and organized a total of 9 community food distributions, utilizing $100,000 of CDBG COVID CARES Act funds, and distributed 2,013 food boxes to the citizens of 29 Palms. The food boxes contain meat, canned goods, and dry goods. In addition to services for our seniors, Reach Out Morongo Basin staff also opens the senior center and activates the cooling center during heat waves. They also organized, set up, and operated an overnight shelter for those without power during Hurricane Ida. Reach Out Morongo Basin, as the lead agency with the Morongo Basin Healthcare District, received a $300,000 transportation grant from Caltrans. Their proposal scored number 1 out of 138 applications in the state with a perfect score of 100. They've also received Title B Senior Support Services, Title III Family Caregiver Support Services, and Dignity at Home Fall Prevention grants from the County of San Bernardino, and grants from Basin Transit and SCAN Health Plans, all of which directly benefit the seniors within our community. The drivers on staff drove over 116,000 miles in 2022-2023 to ensure that seniors had transportation to doctor's appointments, shopping, and other needs. Robin and her staff also volunteer their time at various community events and organize fundraisers that directly benefit the seniors. This is just a brief description of the many accomplishments that this program has achieved since I've been directly involved with the program. And I've had the pleasure of working with Reach Out Morongo Basin and its staff for many years, and I have full confidence that our seniors are in excellent hands. So in recognition of their efforts, I would like to ask the mayor to present Reach Out Morongo Basin staff with a token of our appreciation. Thank you. Come on up.
All right. Now, you guys do so much. You heard everything that you guys do for us. We greatly appreciate it. This is a very small token of our appreciation for everything you do for us. So presented to the Reach Out Morongo Basin in recognition and appreciation for all your continued dedication, contributions, and service to the citizens of the city of 29 Palms. Thank you. Let's get a good picture. No. Nope. Is it? You're good? Okay, we'll stay like that.
Thank you.
You want to say anything?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, City staff, and the community of 29 Palms. Reach Out Morongo Basin has been blessed to have been a part of this community since we were Reach Out 29 and started here 25 years ago. That we have been able to be of service to this, our town and the people is the greatest joy we could have. But I have to say that, everything that it comes down to is my staff. They are truly the heroes. They are the ones that are out there every day on the ground with the seniors, caring for them, helping them, answering the phones, doing everything. And, I think please give them a big hand because they're the backbone of our organization. And thank you. We hope to be here for another 25, 30, 40, 50 years too. So, peace.
Thank you. You doing the slide? There she comes. says reach out, so it's, all right.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor Bilderain, Mayor Pro Tem Klink, and the rest of the council members. Thank you for allowing us to come before you today. And I'm really glad that the presentation for Reach Out Morongo Basin went first, because so many people still are getting the names confused. And so we are Reach Out, and our office just happens to be in Yucca Valley. So we're going to tell you a little bit about us and the programs that we offer. But first and foremost, let me let you know that we are a 501(c). Reach Out has been here in Southern California for over 55 years. There were 2 offices in Yurupa Valley and in Upland, and we opened up an office here in Yucca Valley as well. And we are so excited because we have so many programs that we're starting here in the Morongo Basin. Our CEO is Diana Fox, and she has led the helm for quite some time, and there are other support staff in other locations. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead. I have a small PowerPoint. It's only about 55 slides. So, all righty. All right, so Reach Out's mission, is to strengthen communities by bringing people together to solve our region's toughest issues, breaking barriers to educational achievements, expanding economic opportunities, and creating safe, healthy, and innovative communities. And Reach Out has a Bill of Rights. I love Bill of Rights because it lets us know what we are entitled to. As a nurse, I always reminded my patients of their Bill of Rights. So anyway, our Bill of Rights is quality health care, education, equitable economic opportunities, dignity and justice, housing, safe homes, neighborhoods and schools, healthy food, and thank you for to Reach Out Morongo Basin. They helped us to stock our pantry, so I really appreciate that. Healthy food and environments, and voice and leadership. And so with this portion of it, I will hand the mic over to Carrie and Rady.
Good afternoon. My name is Rady Santos. I work under EP, which is Environmental Protection. I am what you will call a CHP, which is a Community Health and Policy Outreach Prevention Specialist. We do the prevention side of things as well. We do develop protective policies. We try to identify risk and protective factors, and then from there we try to assess the situation, always using the best outcome possible. We also offer Narcan training, we use Narcan training, and we also use Narcan classes, which are free. And then our latest initiative will be the Youth Leadership Academy, which is a 5-week program. It will be offered to ages 13 to 17, and it is intended to help our youth. We offer financial advice, we offer financial responsibility, self-management, management skills, interpersonal skills. We plan on having guest speakers. We plan on having a whole thing. Sorry. We plan on having a whole bunch of guest speakers, and then as a culminating experience, we plan on having a field trip, and this will be at the Morongo Preservation, and it will be an ecological and historical field trip. And we do like to offer this opportunity to our youth. More in the future will be offered to ages 18 to 24, which will be young adults as well. So we hope they benefit from it, and we hope this program will continue to be offered to our youth. Thank you.
Well, I don't know how to follow Rady. My name is Carrie Kish. I also work in environmental prevention, which is a way of saying we look at everything in the environment from individual to family to community, focusing obviously mostly on community and neighborhoods, right? To look at what is a contributing factor, what is causing our youth to steer towards using substances at a young age. If the younger a child uses any type of substance, whether it be nicotine, alcohol, or what we consider more illicit drugs, they're affecting their developing brain, they are more likely to develop 70% more likely to develop a disorder later in life. So our goal is to come in and try to bring protections through education, policy, etc. Like Rady touched on, we also do Narcan classes. I don't know, we're a little bit past the holidays now, right? But maybe some of us traveled around the holidays, or maybe we will for Easter, or coming up into the summer. Most of our domestic flights use an airplane that's around 200 passengers. And every day in this country, we lose 186 people due to opioid overdose. So picture one of those airplanes going down every single day, right? So this is a huge issue. So by distributing naloxone into the community, San Diego County Harm Reduction Department uses the word saturate. Their goal is to saturate the community and give people time to make different decisions, right? Give people time to access services to get out of disorder. So that's one of our passion projects that we're excited about. I would extend it to you all as well. I've been in the community doing outreach. Community members have come to me saying that they're finding syringes in public places. They're finding folks overdosing in public places. So I think the more of us that are trained and able to intervene, just like we would offer first aid or help for someone suffering a heart attack, the better. So we offer those classes free. And they can be scheduled through Reach Out. And I think I'm taking way too much time, so I'm gonna give it back to Ms. Carmelette.
And we would love to train the staff of 29 Palms and the City Council. Okay, now this is my baby. This is what we refer to as the MAT program, which is the Medication Assisted Treatment. This is for people in the community who have substance use disorders. No longer, hopefully, they will not have to travel far distances to remain sober and can be able to make the correct decisions in life. So our plan is that we will have 2 MAT clinics on each side of the basin, one in 29 Palms and one in Yucca Valley. So I will let my other colleagues speak about it.
Hi, my name is Sally, and I am a community healthcare worker, and we are putting together our MAT program, which is the Medicated Assistant Treatment Program. The MAT program is mostly appropriate for people with opioid use disorder who are using fentanyl. We will be, in our clinics, we'll be prescribing the medication of buprenorphine. The duration of the Medicated Assistant Treatment Program is highly dependent on the person's goals to remain free from dependency. We will also be offering counseling therapy throughout the process. In addition, our job as CHWs will be there to help navigate them throughout the process to become independent again. And if the person is choosing to, change their life, we're here to help navigate them throughout that process as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Cadence Kroner. I am also a community health worker here at Reach Out Yucca Valley's MAP program. Alongside providing counseling by Lisa Molina from Solid Ground, we also provide unwavering support to our clients, as well as our 2 providers, Dr. Casco and Dr. Saholtra. We're also very proud to announce that we have 2 clinic locations, as Carmelette said. One will be in 29 Palms, and the other one will be in Yucca Valley. As client navigators, we hope to bring a brighter future to our clients' lives and our community as well. Thank you.
Okay, so, and I would also like to point out that Reach Out was honored and recognized as 2023's Nonprofit of the Year by State Senator Roth. So with that said, let me see, I don't think I have anything else. Oh, here's our contact information, and you can email us at Reach Out and our office number. But if at this time the council has any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Thank you very much for that. That's very important for the community. I just had a quick question. Where is the MAT location going to be in the city of 29 Palms?
It would be at Dr. Saholter's office, right off the highway.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Can you email these contacts to us individually?
Most definitely.
Thank you.
Public, any questions? No? All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Carmelette.
Thank you.
Just throw it. All right. Council comments and reports of meetings attended. Councilman Scott?
Thank you. I went ahead and I attended the Black History Month event, Mara Arts Walk, which was collaborated between Women of Color 29 and Black Cactus Co-working Space.
All right. I didn't attend nothing, but I do want to wish my mom, my oldest son Mackie, and my granddaughter happy birthday. Oh yeah, I did do that. My bad. I did attend the mayor's prayer breakfast. It was outstanding. It was great. The mayor did a fantastic job, and so yeah. Other than that, I'm good. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilman Mintz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just attended a lot of city meetings this last 2 weeks, and our softball season is in full swing at the high school. Haha, it's full swing. But also baseball is also, they're playing boys tennis, the swim team at our new pool, yay, and I think, track and field. They got on the new track and field, they get to use it this year, so. If you get a chance, look at the schedule on the TPH's website, and you'll be able to help support the high school. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the Measure I Desert Mountain Division meeting a couple Fridays ago, and a lot of things were discussed about the 395 widening, and they're getting closer for the next phase of doing that. I also want to let the people of 29 Palms know of the new closure that's close by, and that's Amboy Road, or historic Route 66 at Amboy to Kel Baker, which now means that road is closed from Amboy all the way to Essex. No more going that way. And I did get a letter from Dawn Rao, because I called her and asked her what's going on. Is this going to be like the 10-year on the other side of Kel Baker that's taken them to get these bridges done? And I'm going to read this to you. It says, a recent Caltrans structure maintenance and investigation has resulted in the immediate closure of Bridge 77 on National Trails Highway. The Caltrans inspection has revealed that the pilings supporting the bridge are over 50% degraded, posing a significant safety risk, prompting them to close the road per Caltrans recommendation. The bridge is positioned between Amboy and Kel Baker Road on Route 66 National Trails Highway. The closure will necessitate detours of approximately 60 miles for travelers, redirecting through Ludlow and back to Interstate 40. Anticipating potential frustration from travelers, we have proactively worked on social media posts and placed road signage at key locations, including Kel Baker Road, I-40, Amboy Road, Godwin Road, and 29 Palms, and Ludlow, Interstate 40. Additionally, we have communicated with Google, Waive, and other mapping applications to ensure awareness of the closure. A temporary 2-lane asphalt bypass is being considered as a shoe-fly option. The implementation may take 2 to 3 weeks, contingent to environmental clearance and weather conditions. In the meantime, our team is outboarding a structural engineer to provide further assessment of the integrity of the bridge. And I have a photo of where the bridge is located if any of the council members want to see where it's at. But do remember, if you are going to Las Vegas, it's not an easy trip through that way now. Now you're going to have to take a left on National Trails Highway at Amboy Road and go back to Ludlow and then get back on the 40 and come back to Cal Baker Road. So be aware of that when you're out traveling if you're going to be traveling that way. Yep, fill up with a lot of gas. Does she have a question?
So we looked it up. There's 3 routes getting you there. You can go down 62 to River Road and get over to 95 and come in that way. Or you can go 247 into Barstow and come in that way, and they're all 1 hour. So actually going down 62 to 95 is 2 minutes faster. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, gotta get the needles this weekend.
Yeah. I'm done.
All right. I attended the prayer breakfast. I also had city meetings and meetings with citizens, and I had social with the mayor at Winging It. It was, had no complaints. Everyone came in there, there were nothing to complain about. So apparently we're doing a good job because no one had anything to talk about. They just came there and ate and left. So I don't know if they're just there to eat and see me, but we ate and had a good time. So it was the food. Yeah. I want to say that we're doing a good job and no one had anything to complain about. So I'm going to write off on the calendar on that one. All right. Yeah. Consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the city council. The public will be given an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items prior to the city council action. Calendars up here. Okay, open to the public. We're all good. I'm closing the public.
I move the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Third.
Joe.
Councilmember Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz,
All right.
Mayor Pro Tem Klink,
Aye.
Mayor Buildering.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Public hearing none. Discussion of potential action item number 7.
Larry, would you mind putting in the a single audit? If you go to the agenda, just click on the link for me and go to page 7 of the report, please. If you go to the report, page number 7. Yep, scroll down. There. Hey. Yeah, you went too far. Yes. On page 7 of the single audit report, not on the staff report. Almost there. There you go. Yes. You just want to expand it a little bit so we can see. It's too tiny. So good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight in front of you is the single audit report on federal awards for fiscal year 22-23, and I just want to clarify that it is for fiscal year 22-23, not 23-24, as it was noted in the staff report. So pursuant to the single audit, Act of 1984 as amended in 1996, and the Office of Management and Budget's Uniform Guidance, the city is required to undergo a single audit if it expends $750,000 or more in federal works. As you can see on page 7 of the report, the city spent $4.8 million in federal works, triggering a single audit, which was performed by the city's external auditors, Rogers, Anderson, Mallory, and Scott, or RAMS for short. On February 12 of 2024, RAMS issued its independent audit report and expressed an unmodified or clean opinion, which simply means that the city complied in all material respects with the compliance requirements that could have a direct and material effect on each of its major federal programs for the year ended June 30, 2023. With regards to the schedule of expenditures of federal works, which is presented on this page, the auditor's report states that it is fairly stated in all material respects in relation to the basic financial statements as a whole. The single audit was not designed for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of internal control over compliance. However, internal controls were considered, tested, and reported on in accordance with the uniform guidance. RAMS did not identify any material weaknesses in internal control over compliance. Unfortunately, they did identify a significant deficiency, and that just basically was related to the improper maintenance of verification that the contractors that were awarded contracts were not. We didn't maintain records that we verified that they were not suspended or debarred. It was a significant deficiency. However, it was not material, so we still received an unmodified or clean opinion. As of February 12, 2024, I notified all department heads and project managers about this finding, and I will ensure that moving forward, all verifications are kept in their respective folders. Page 9 of the report, if you scroll down 2 more pages, that page. It shows the summary of the audit results. As you can see, there's no material weaknesses. And there were no question costs identified, meaning that all the federal grants were spent on their allowable expenditures. And due to the significant increase in federal funding sources awarded to the city, we are expecting that a single audit will be required for fiscal year 23-24. And the recommendation tonight is that City Council receive and file the single audit report for federal awards for fiscal year 22-23. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council, questions?
I'm just curious where it says significant deficiencies identified. I don't know if I missed that, or can you?
Yeah, so that was basically the one that I just mentioned. That so as part of every time we award a contract, we have to verify that the contractor is not suspended or debarred from participating in federal funded projects. We do that search, and we have to do it in sam.gov. And so we currently conduct a search. What the auditors wanted to see is proof that we do it. So I contacted project managers. Again, they confirmed that they do it, but they don't keep a printout to show like, hey, we did the search. So moving forward, and Larry might have seen in various emails that I've contacted project managers, and with the projects that we have going on, we have the Split Rock Bridge, which is going to be funded with federal grants. I'm asking the project manager to give me the names of the contractors that are going to be bidding for the project, and I'm running a search. And now, like I said, we did it in the past, we just didn't keep records of the search. So now I'm printing out the sheet from sam.gov, and we'll do that moving forward.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it.
Could I add that we do that? We did do that. They just want you to have a piece of paper printed off the computer, and I guarantee you that everybody will have their paper printed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Finance director's on it.
Anyone else, council? No? Public? Nope. Okay, back to council.
So is this just review and final?
Just receive
Okay.
and file.
Okay.
All right.
Number 8.
Okay, so this one I do need you to go to the PowerPoint. Do you have the? Which one am I after? It's the general fund. Do you have the clip, Cindy? Okay, so I do have 3 reports that are related to the fund budget adjustments, so bear with me. I'll try to go as quick as I can. So the first one is the general fund. So we are making budget amendments to the original budget. Wait, it's not working. Would you mind going to the next slide, please? Mm-mm. Oh, maybe because I'm doing it. Oh, there's Larry. My. Okay, so here's just a summary of what I'll be covering in this presentation. And we're going to go over the cash balances as of December 31st, 2023, the budget summary, and the year-to-date revenue and operating expenditures for the fiscal year 22-23. Then I'll be covering the reserves for the current and the past 2 fiscal years. And then the last item will be a snapshot of the fiscal year 24-25 budget. Okay, so as of December 31st, 2023, we have a total of $16.4 million in cash and investments, which have remained consistent since the end of the fiscal year June 30, 2023. To maximize the city's resources, I, as the city treasurer, invest temporary idle cash and investments approved under the city's investment policy. A total of $5.8 million has been invested in the local agency investment fund, which has been earning an average of 4% during the last quarter of 2023. $5.3 million have been invested in CDs, earning an average of 3.5%, and $1.5 million in U.S. Treasury bills, earning a 5.2%. The funds invested in LAIF are readily available, whereas the funds invested in CDs and U.S. Treasury bills have a specified contractual term ranging from 6 months to 5 years. Okay, so here's the summary of our proposed general fund budget. Revenues and with the adjustments that we're proposing, we are looking at a surplus of $228,000, and I'll go in more detail on the revenues and expenditure adjustments. Next slide, please. Larry? Yes, thank you. So the top revenue adjustments that we're proposing is vehicle license fee in lieu of property tax. We got the first allocation. Typically, the license fees, we get it in 2 separate installments. The first one was received at the beginning of January, and it was $2.1 million. And the second allocation is expected to be received in May, another $2.1 million. And our original estimate was $3.9 million. So we're proposing an adjustment of $303,000. Sales tax are expected to decrease. Interest, we're adjusting it by $50,000. The $120,000 is a conservative amount, just because, you know, the uncertainty in the market right now. Property transfer fees are expected to decrease by $40,000. Next slide, please. And here's just a pie chart of where our revenues come from. It hasn't changed in the past fiscal years. Property tax, vehicle license fees, TOT, and sales tax remain the top 4 revenues, operating revenues for the city. And we don't expect that this is going to change in the near future. Next slide, please. Here's a table of the net taxable assessed value history for the past 11 years. As you can see, the last fiscal year, 22-23, we saw a significant increase compared to prior year. The increase or the change was 11.16% in assessed property tax values. Next slide. Our top expenditure adjustments are the safety plan termination. I'll discuss this item in more detail in the next slide. No, go back, please. No. Mm-mm. It's on. Oh, there. Oh, you just have to press hard. I thank you. There you go. Okay, so the next adjustment is the CalPERS required employer contribution. And this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen very often, but for this fiscal year, CalPERS had a higher investment return than what was projected. So we are not required to contribute our annual retirement contribution. And that was projected at $128,000. So we're removing that from the budget for this fiscal year. We're not sure what the annual requirement will be for next year, but at least for this year, we're saving $128,000. And then we are proposing an increase in the Lucky Park pool operations of $43,000, and that mainly has to do with the increase in electricity. It's, you know, electricity has been going up significantly. So now with, you know, when we brought the budget back in June, we didn't know exactly how, you know, once the pool opened, we weren't sure about the operating costs, but now we have more of an actual number, or closer to an actual number. Public work, admin salaries and benefits. So we're not increasing our salaries and benefits as a whole, but for the gas tax, and I'll be discussing this in the subsequent presentation, but gas tax has been decreasing. So we have to reallocate $67,000 from the gas tax fund to the general fund because we are receiving a lower allocation compared to prior years. I think I'm doing something wrong. Okay, here you go. So I don't know if you recall, but about, let's say 2 years ago, we started the process of terminating the fire safety plan. And when we got the original estimates, we thought that the total liability was going to be $3,457,000. Well, we got the final, or the actuals in July of 2023. And the actuals came $14,000 under. I mean, as a whole, it's not a very significant difference, but when we're talking about how much the city funded or how much the city contributed for this termination, our allocation or contribution was actually $84,000 less than what was originally projected. And that's because the assets that we have in the trust, they were valued higher when we did the termination compared to when we were doing the original estimates. So that's the main reason why we ended up paying, or we ended up using $84,000 less in reserves than originally estimated. Okay. So here's a summary of the department expenditures, you know, year to date compared to what is being proposed. As you can see, all of the expenditures are in line with expectations, except for the non-departmental. The non-departmental is already 78%, and that's because the fire safety termination was paid off at the beginning of the year, as well as liability and workers' comp insurance. Those are paid at the beginning of the year. So that's why you see a 78% already being spent. Going backwards. Okay, so here's a summary of the city's reserve balance. So for fiscal year 23-24, we're projecting a 74% of operating reserves. And, that's in line with the city's reserve policy of 50 to 55%. As you may recall, we used to have a policy of 60 to 65%, but with increase in operating costs and projects, we decreased that number, or council approved the decrease of the operating reserve to 50 to 55%. So as you can see, we are in good shape. We are at 74%, so that's a pretty good number. Okay, and here's a snapshot of fiscal year 24-25. We are projecting a surplus of $5,000, and this is mainly because we are being conservative with our revenues, especially with TOT. It has TOT used to be increasing significantly in the past fiscal year, but in the last 2 quarters of the fiscal year, it hasn't really increased by much. It was only like 1% the last time I checked. So we are being conservative with TOT, and we are projecting that sales tax is going to decrease in the current and the upcoming fiscal year. And we had a meeting with HDO, and basically what they're seeing is that with the rising cost and prices and goods and services, consumers are not spending as much as they used to. And that concludes my actually, I have one more thing. So in summary, overall, the city's operating budget is performing well. Through mid-year, cash and reserves are strong. Revenues and expenditures are within expectations, and we are projecting a balanced budget for fiscal year 23-24. So here are the recommendations for tonight. The first one is for City Council to review and approve the proposed general fund budget amendments for fiscal year 23-24 and approve an interfund transfer for fiscal year 23-24 from the general fund to the traffic safety fund to close this fund. Any questions?
Yeah, so you're saying the reason you're projecting sales tax to decrease is because people are spending less?
That's what we were told by HDL, and it's not that they're spending less, but for example, casual dining, restaurants have higher menu prices, and now they're adding like extra add-ons. And can't remember what's the name of the bill, but in April, minimum wage for fast food restaurants is expected to increase to $20 per hour. So restaurants have said that they're going to pass down those high prices to the consumers. So maybe the consumption might be the same, but actually it might decrease because now it's cheaper to cook at home and then go out, and so consumers are going for that alternative. That's what we were talking about with HDL in our last meeting.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Nope. Open to the public. Any questions? Any slips? No? Nope. Okay, I have one I have to read. Good evening, Ms. Viesquez. Unfortunately, I'm unable to physically attend tonight's meeting, but I would like to comment and ask question in reference to items 8 and 9. On April 11, 2019, the city was granted a $1.3 million loan for energy-efficient upgrades to the city-owned buildings to improve the quality of life for the city residents, to include but not limited to City Hall, Parks and Recs, and other city-owned buildings. This information is verifiable on ibank.cal.gov, City of 29 Palms profile. That being said, my question is, which account fund did this money go to? Capital projects funds and special funds, or Project Phoenix funds and enterprise funds? Are any of the funds from the loans reflected in the available balance of the accounts that are up for audit and approval today? For everyone's reference, I attached the loan profile question today. Thank you, Ms. Vieses, for all you do. Respectfully, April Ramirez.
Okay, so I can answer to that question. Actually, two questions there. So the first one, Mrs. Ramirez is asking what account or fund did this money go to, and it was it went to the Capital Projects Fund. She's asking about the if any of the funds that are remaining are up for audit. There are no funds available. The funds were spent. The last $21,000 that was remaining from this loan was spent on in fiscal year 21-22. And then about the audit, I'm assuming she's talking about the single audit. She doesn't say, but the $1.3 million is not included in the single audit. It is not a federal grant. That $1.3 million was a loan, therefore is not included in the single audit.
Okay. Back to council.
So we just need a motion to approve the general budget amendments
The
and
budget adjustments and the
8,000
transfer of
additional?
$8,000.
and to transfer the interfund transfer of $8,000 to the traffic safety fund. That's my motion.
Second.
Councilmember Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klink,
Aye.
Mayor Buildering.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
All right. Item number 9.
Not that one, the middle one. Thank you. Okay, so tonight in front of you, we have the Capital Projects Fund and Special Funds Budget Adjustments for fiscal year 23-24. This clicker doesn't like me. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Capital Projects Fund and special funds, special revenue funds are established by the City Council or other agencies to collect money that must be used for a specific project or purpose. Special funds provide an extra level of accountability and transparency to taxpayers and or ratepayers that their tax or fee dollars will go towards their intended purpose. Some of the special funds that we have include the CDBG fund, gas tax, Measure I, lighting and landscaping funds, public access TV fund, TIVIT, among others. Collectively, these funds are expected to receive a total of $14 million in revenue, and we are projecting expenditures and transfers out of $17.6 million for fiscal year 23-24. Oh, goodness. Maybe you should do it. Thank you. So the revenue collected through the special funds include tax revenue, grants, fees, and other miscellaneous revenues. I'll go in more detail on the next slide for tax revenue. For grants, we're projecting to receive $9.9 million. $3.5 million of that is for the Sullivan Bike Path, $2.7 million for the Split Rock Bridge, and $1.7 million for Phase 2B of the SR 62 Street Widening Project, and $1.3 million for the Safe Route to School project. Next slide, please. So for tax revenues, we're projecting to receive $630,000 from the Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Program. The revenue source will fund overlay of various streets throughout the city. The gas tax allocation is projected at $719,000 and will be spent on street repairs and maintenance within existing roadways. I would like to note that gas tax funding cannot be used to widen or extend a road. Measure I funds, which are projected to be $617,000, will be used for engineering and admin costs for various projects, including the Split Rock Bridge project. Next slide, please. As I mentioned previously, our MRA funding will be spent on street overlays, and here's a list of the streets that are projected to be overlaid, and actually some of this have started. Craig and his crew have already started this project. Next slide, please. Okay, so here we have the history of tax revenue from gas and RMRA sources combined. As you can see, the last 2 fiscal years haven't really increased significantly compared to fiscal year 21-22, and with the push towards electric vehicles, we might see a higher decline in gas tax. So we shall see how this is going to affect, and that's the reason why we're asking to reallocate $67,000 of salaries and benefits from the gas tax to the general fund. Those salaries and benefits used to be funded by Article 8, but now we're no longer receiving Article 8 funding. So fortunately, we have to make some reallocations there. Next slide, please. Okay, so here we have the reserves, the projected reserves for fiscal year 23-24 for some of the special funds that we have. All of these funds that are listed here, the reserves cannot be used for operating expenditures. They have a specific purpose, and that's the only, we can only spend on projects that have already been approved. Next slide. Okay, here's a list of all the active projects that we're currently working on. Some of these projects are projected to start either, they're already on their way, or they're gonna start at the beginning or before the beginning of the next fiscal year. So whatever project is not closed before the end of the fiscal year is gonna carry over to fiscal year 23-24. I highlighted the city hall structure because I remember we brought this, I want to say last year, and council didn't really want to proceed with the project. So I'm bringing this up. If you want to reallocate this $45,000 to another project, or if you want us to look into maybe another contractor and bring this forward in a subsequent meeting, but we can discuss this in more detail at the end. Next slide, please. Some of the projects that we are, or equipment and vehicle replacements that we are projecting, our code enforcement vehicle, the animal control vehicle, and both of those vehicles are going to be funded with the General Capital Projects Fund. We also need a water truck and sign materials. Those are going to be funded with gas tax funding. But for the code enforcement vehicle and animal control, because we have seen a significant increase in vehicle prices, we might need to revise the appropriated funds, and we might have to increase that. We'll definitely bring that before we acquire the vehicles. And here we have a list of projects that have been closed. So as you know, the Lackey Park pool has been completed, and we have $250,000 remaining. We also, that was a project that was closed at the beginning of this fiscal year. And in prior years, we had the Highway 62 Carve Gutter Sidewalk project, and that had a remaining balance of $119,000. The Citizen Serve software, we received grant funding for that, so we didn't spend everything that was appropriated for that project, and that left $59,000 left. The Lackey Park Shade Structures, we have about $25,000 remaining. So all in all, a total of $457,000 from all those projects that have been closed. However, we do have some active projects that need additional funding, and we're recommending the reallocation of those remaining funds to this unfunded project. So for the Lucky Park pool, we need about $7,000 for IT equipment. The light park ball field lights poles. So the total project is projected at $1.4 million, and we've only appropriated $1.5 million. So that leaves us with $300,000 left. Keep in mind that we do have a contingency for the project of $300,000. So if we don't use the funding for the contingency, we can always reallocate the funds for another project. Then we also need, so for the Sullivan Bike Path, we are getting a grant, but the grant does not cover admin costs or engineering costs, so we have to come up with that funding. We had allocated $250,000 already, but we are gonna need $271,000 more. So even once we reallocate the remaining funds, we're still going to have a deficit of $125,000, or not a deficit, but funding sources that will be needed for the bike path. Okay, additional funding needs. We're going to need additional funding for the new control shelter. We haven't forgotten about that. So the recommendation here tonight is for City Council to review and approve the proposed special fund and capital project funds, budget adjustments for fiscal year 23-24, and for Council to reallocate the funding left from closed projects to projects with unfunded balances. And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
Council, questions?
No, I would like to talk about the entrance project, the 45,000 that we stopped, but we can do that after.
Public?
Not for grants. For grants, we it's very rare that we have funding sources left. We always try to work with the project manager to make sure that we use it all. But in cases, if there were to be funding available, we cannot. It has to be the grantor. The granting agency has to approve the reallocation of the funds. We cannot do it ourselves. It has to, go through a whole approval process. There has to be written agreements stating that, okay, this funding is going to be reallocated to another project. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I would like to add that all of the reallocations that I was mentioning earlier, those are city funds that were committed for capital projects, so they're not grant funds. None of these reallocations are grant related.
Okay, I have one to read. Dear City Council members, I'm concerned that the city lacks the cohesive plan to turn the plaza at Freedom Plaza into a kind of vibrant public space desperately needed to activate our downtown. Great downtown plazas are sites of encouraged community. They are places where residents and visitors hang out together. But sadly, our plaza is not designed as a comfortable outdoor space. No one is saying let's grab a coffee and meet at Freedom Plaza. Would it be possible to use unallocated Project Phoenix funds to invite a few landscape architects and or artists specializing in public space and purpose potential situations? Until we have a solution, I cannot support adding any additional elements to Freedom Plaza. That includes sculptures, murals on the walls facing into the plaza, additional benches, or anything else that is permanent. The lack of planning in our city too often results in mishmash that doesn't serve any overall vision. Let's create a vision for Freedom Plaza that is cohesive and enhances our city. Cindy Bernard, proud 29 Palms resident.
Can I just say something that that needs to be discussed in the Project Phoenix budget adjustments, because Mr.
I can't be here
Builder,
for that.
Mr. Mintz needs to recuse himself.
Okay.
Thank you, Abigail.
Yeah. So we won't speak on that issue. Any additional questions and a motion?
So real quick, you know how I am with the animal shelter. I mean, it doesn't look like it's really getting the start that I wanted it to, but it seems like Lucky Park is still getting all this extra cash to do things at Lucky Park. And they've been getting it for a long time, and it's been leaving the animal shelter to where it's, if you go down there, go take a look at it, it's not very nice. We need to get a new animal shelter, and I know that we're talking a lot of money, but I hope next time when this comes through that a lot of this unfunded balances will be put towards that animal shelter budget so that we can get that going. I like Lucky Park and everything. I'm glad it's there. It's a beautiful park, but we need to spread the wealth to all city buildings, not just one department.
Yeah, like I said, we do have, $300,000 that are needed for the ball field lights, but that's for the contingency. So if that doesn't get used, it can definitely be reallocated to another project. For example, animal shelter.
That.
And then, as I mentioned during the general fund presentation, I'm not sure if we can discuss this now because it was for the general fund, but we do have really strong reserves. And even if we were to allocate or commit $1 million for the animal shelter, we're still going to be at about 65% of our general fund reserve. So something to think about. And I can definitely bring that for the fiscal year 24-25 budget and make that, you guys can vote on it and commit that whatever funds you think are needed.
Okay, well, we can discuss the 45,000 because that's been allocated.
Right.
So we didn't spend it before because we didn't like the design. So do we want to? It was supposed to be for the entrance of City Hall here, on the other side of the door, not on the one they open. So that cuts down on the heat that goes in there and make it look better. So I mean, is that something we want to pursue with the 45,000, or we just didn't like the design the way it was before? So do we want staff to come back with us another recommendation?
I'd like to see that money actually reallocated to something else. To be honest, possibly some type of heating and cooling center for the unhoused, maybe.
Wow. Okay. Well, then that just means
like that, right? It has to be a capital.
Well, you could reallocate it to whatever project you vote on.
Okay. So when you're saying, well. That was just money that we had before because it was supposed to help with the door, right? To make it more ADA accessible.
Yeah.
That's what it was original for. It was supposed to make it so the door could be opened, so people wouldn't have to open it. Right? Is that the? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It was supposed to so the door could be open so that they could just come in, and then we have the automatic door, and they could just come right in. They wouldn't have to open the single door.
I think we need to look at that again.
That's because what you're talking about, Councilman Scott. I think that's going to be a little bit more, and there's other monies we can look at that. But.
Okay.
So I would prefer us to look at that again, how we can put the shade structure up there and for the entrance for the city hall.
Well, yeah, I will look at the ADA accessibility for it, but the shade structure thing, I mean, that's last. I mean, the ADA, getting them to come in and out without the doors, I'm for it, but please do that.
Okay, so you want the ADA compliant
Yes, please.
to be brought first?
I mean, that's just what I'm saying. I'm not saying whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's just I know that what the shade part of it was just to cut the heat down from, because when the sun is going right into that door. But that's why they even had to put a wrap around it because they couldn't open the door.
Yeah, and I think it was a problem with it too.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, honestly, though, I think when we had the last city manager here, I think he had even, discussed maybe just getting rid of that section altogether, because the doors inside are automatic. It's just those outdoor doors. I mean, do we need anything there at all?
Yeah, we do. Security. Captain would argue that.
Okay. So we gave staff direction as far as bringing something back to us.
Yes.
Okay. And then I do like to point out that the light poles, we were or in the original budget, we were thinking of applying for a loan with iBank. But, you know, given that we do have available funding sources, we thought it was better to use those on remaining balances rather than going for a 20-year loan with
No,
a 4.5% interest.
I like the way you
So-
rearranged this. Thank you.
Thank
Are you ready for motion?
Okay, so then with that in mind, like I said, we do have, we still need $125,000 for the bike path. Can we, do you want me to request that later, or can we do a transfer of $125,000 from the general fund to the capital projects to fund this remaining balance?
Well, yeah, because I could include that in the motion.
Yes.
Because if we, obviously, if you don't use the 300,000 for the ball field lights, then we won't have to make the transfer. You just put that way, you can do it if you need to.
Say that again? I'm sorry.
So in other words, you're saying you might not need the 300,000, but if we allocate the 125,000 tonight, you'd be able to move forward with all of this, and then if there's extra money, you'll
Yeah,
let
and
us
then we
know.
could always take
Yeah.
it back.
Okay.
So then we would need a transfer of $125,000, 320, from the general fund to the capital projects fund.
Okay. Well, my motion is that we review the capital funds and special funds budget amended for the fiscal 2023, and then we reallocate the funds left from closed projects, unfunded balances, including IT equipment for the Lucky Park pool, Lucky Park ball field lights, and the project management costs of hatch and bike, which would include $125,000.
And let's
Sec-
not forget to say that we need the transfer of
Oh,
$125,000.
yeah, the transfer is the 125,000
from the general fund.
from the
to-
general fund
To the capital projects fund.
to the capital project.
Sorry, it's for
That's all
auditors.
right.
Second.
Okay. As long as we get it straight the first time, that's all I ask.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scott,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klink,
A small I.
Mayor Bildering.
Aye.
I don't know how
Aye.
to put that in the
Sorry.
record.
All right, moving on to number 10.
All right, I have to accuse
Yes.
myself, Mr. Mayor. My wife still rents a spot in the Project Phoenix area or Freedom Plaza area, so I have to leave the room.
Yes, sir.
The last one. That one. Thank you, Larry. Next slide, please. So now we're moving on to the Project Phoenix funds and enterprise fund budget adjustments for fiscal year 23-24. Next slide, please. So Project Phoenix funds account for the activities associated with the city's downtown revitalization project. The enterprise fund accounts for the activities associated with the city's wastewater and sewer project. And we continue to call it Project Phoenix because that was the name given to the project, but the actual center is Freedom Plaza. Next slide, please. So as of today, we have $354,000 left from the $2.3 million that was previously committed for the Project Phoenix project. These funds have not been assigned for a specific project, so they can be reallocated to other projects as council deem fit. There's also $1 million left from the housing bond proceeds. However, they can only be used for affordable housing activities. Next slide, please. And we do have some tasks that remain open for from the overall Project Phoenix. One of them being the storefront improvements, which we have a business loan program for that. Keith will be presenting, will be providing an update on this project at a later date. We also have $28,000 left for facility fixtures at Freedom Plaza, and $29,000 for street furniture, and $15,000 for public art at that facility. Next slide, please. So for the sewer fund, budget. We are currently working on a couple of grants. As you may recall, the citywide wastewater project we're not moving forward with that project. So we are working with the granting agencies, trying to reallocate some of the grants. For example, the Stack 1 and Stack 2 grants are from the Environmental Protection Agency. They were originally gonna go to the design phase for the citywide wastewater treatment, but we are working with the granting agency so that they can be reallocated to the USGS study. And then this grant requires the 20% match. However, we are requesting a waiver for this share, so we are very confident that we're gonna get this approved. Then the other project that we're working on is the package treatment plan at Project Phoenix. And we have, the grant that we have is for $1.6 million, but we do need, that one we do have to have a 20% match. Council already approved, or has committed $368,000, but we still need $50,000 for the match. And we also need $105,000 for the contingency of this project. And let me see what year. So in June of 2022, council approved the transfer of $500,000 for the city wastewater project. However, since we're not moving forward with this project, we can reallocate some of these funds, $156,000 for the remaining of the city match and the $105,000 for the contingency. Again, the contingency, if we don't use it, we can always reallocate it to something else. And next slide, please. That concludes my presentation. The recommendation tonight is for City Council to review and approve the budget amendments for fiscal year 23-24 and provide direction on the remaining funds for the overall Project Phoenix and the enterprise fund reserves.
Council questions?
No, I just have some comments after the public.
All right. Open to public. Up to the speaker, please. Yes. Or the mic, actually.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
In fact, I have a couple of questions. About how long would it take for the Freedom Plaza to have the sewer treatment plant is my first question. And based on the hotel being a very important part of actually contributing towards the sewer treatment plant at the Freedom Plaza, when are we expecting the hotel to break ground? Because I would not like to see the 20 businesses be burdened by the operational cost of the sewer treatment plant if it's put in way ahead.
Great
Those are my
questions.
questions.
Treatment plant is being awarded in the next week. They had a problem with the first contractor. They couldn't prove the product the way that the EDA wanted it proved. So we went with the second. We had to turn the paperwork into the EDA. They approved that so that we can award that bid. They're looking at starting in April. That'll take approximately 6 months to build. The hotel that's going to be a part of it, we have, nothing's come forward on that. So we have no information on when they will start that. They have another hotel they're remodeling at this time, and they have been moving forward on that. And they were gonna do the downtown one afterwards, but we have no information.
Do we have a recall on the land if they don't perform by breaking ground on the hotel at certain time, that the city have the right to take back the land?
They purchased the land.
Yeah, but in the purchase and sale agreement, don't they have a time frame to perform within certain time?
I would have to research that. I wasn't here when that happened. I've never looked into that, so I could find out.
Because as a small businessman in the town, my heart goes out for those 20 business people that will be contributing towards the sewer treatment plant. Unless the city is thinking that, hey, if the hotel doesn't contribute, then the city would be paying that money, not the 20 business people paying for 100% of the sewer treatment plant. I don't have a business in the same downtown. I just have those concerns because today this music is playing at somebody else's door. I'd hate for you to play at my door tomorrow. Thanks.
Can we call the hotel people and ask them? We've been getting a lot of questions on when you're going to be starting, or have any idea?
I have been asking them.
Can you ask them again, or give me a number? I'll call them. I don't know.
They have a plan. They're in place, and they're moving forward with their plan. It's was there a time? I don't know the answer
I don't
to
think
this.
there was a
Did
time.
they tell us that it was going to be done at a certain time?
No,
That I don't know.
they never did.
But we do need to get the package treatment plant in. So
You can send your request in yes.
I do like to point out that currently the maintenance that we are paying is, being funded. $17,000 is being funded by the sewer fees that we're collecting. The businesses are paying a very small portion of it. $65,000 is being funded by the city. So the businesses are not paying 100% of the sewer fees right now, of the maintenance.
Yes. And everyone been in project management, things got to go like this. Sometimes things go faster, so we're moving as fast as we can. So we'll try to get those answers for you, and we'll go from there. If we don't have them, we're not getting them either. All right. Mary Jane.
Just a suggestion on spending some of that money. I was there Saturday, and people are really using those tables that you put out there. I think they need some more tables and shade. You absolutely need some shade covers for the people. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Just a quick on that shading. Putting something permanent is not an answer because all these ideas that people want to put things, so that's been on a hold. So the shade has been on our priority, but can't put anything permanent because all these art ideas coming in and landscaping. So we'll put up permanent shading to take it down, to put something. So we're kind of playing this game right now, but it is on that radar of things that need to get done. Just trying to put everything together. So we're not building to tear down, to build to tear down. So it is on our priority list though.
Yeah, I just wanted to say same thing. I've done some research on social media just to get feedback from the community about what type of shade structures they would like at Project Phoenix. And there's a lot of great ideas out there. And so I think that we just need to go through that process.
We do have $28,000 left for facility fixtures and $29,000 for street furniture.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Back to council. Close the public. Back to council for a motion.
All
Or
right.
questions?
I make a motion that we approve the proposed Project Phoenix funds and enterprise fund budget. I was reading that, Larry.
The amendments.
Oh, man. Amendment for fiscal year 2023-24, and that the city council reallocate the funding left from closed projects to projects with unfunded. No, wait. City council provide. Oh, I done messed this all up now. Let me start over. Okay, I make a motion that we approve the proposed Project Phoenix funds and enterprise fund budget amendment for fiscal year 2023-24, and that we approve the transfer of $156,000.
It's not a transfer, it's just a reallocation of
Okay, reallocation.
of $156,000 from that was previously committed for the citywide project to now to match the package treatment and the contingency for the project for the package treatment.
What she said.
And we needed this to be on record because we do need to report to the EDA and tell them that we have this funds committed in order for them to approve the project.
So you're saying I got to say it?
Yes.
All right, okay, good.
Second.
And then we do have the $354,000 from the Project Phoenix that's still there. And then I guess we can talk at a later date to see how you want to reallocate those funds.
Yeah.
That's separate from this $156,000.
Yeah, I would like to talk later on that because we might need it for
Okay.
Yeah.
something else.
Let's get the dust to settle for these other allocations, and then we'll figure out where we go
Yeah.
from there.
So that concludes the presentation.
Had the second roll call.
Thank you. Councilmember Scott?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klink?
Aye.
Mayor Buildering?
Aye.
Approved 401.
Thank you.
Item number 11. He fell asleep back there.
Alrighty. All right, I got more money for you. So recently the Events Ad Hoc Committee met, and they are recommending the following events to be funded. It's $15,000 in total. So the 29 Palms Art Gallery Gala Dinner for $10,000, and then Sky's the Limit Observatory and Nature Center's ongoing programs for $5,000. So the ad hoc committee members, council members Mintz and Scott, reviewed applications for the community events grant. The recommendations are for upcoming events. They are still reviewing the other submissions. All events authorized need to have the proper permitting, licensing, and other requirements before the city will issue the resources. So within the adopted budget, there is $50,000 available for community events grants. Of the $50,000, there is $43,000 available for allocation. Should these events be funded, there will be $28,000 available for allocation to other events.
Pretty easy day.
Council?
Well, I think we should fund them. We reviewed it.
Any input from the two ad hoc committee members? Or am I go to public first, then you'll?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Open the public. Yep. Up to the mic before we can get on record, please.
I have a question. Yes. I don't understand the $10,000 for the gala dinner. I mean, I thought the dinner was to make $10,000, and I don't understand why it would cost $10,000 to have a dinner.
Well, I guess it kind of answered with the request they gave us was for the building. They needed a lot of work done with the building, so they were going to use this money to do that. But they already took money, I guess, to pay for this to fix the building. It's under repair, but it's mainly this came to us because they were having that the last event they had there was a art show, and that's basically how when it came to us we were trying to fund the actual show, not particularly the dinner. So this is kind of the dinner word. This is a little misleading. It's because they're putting on shows there, so we want to help them fund their shows. Yeah, not the dinner. They're putting the dinner on so they can make. But when it came to us, it was more for to fund their events. I mean, that's because they had the art show. Yes. Oh, would you like to come up there and help me out with this?
Please come on up to the mic.
You wrote the letter. Yeah, but you wrote the letters, and Councilmember Scott listened.
I appreciate that very much.
Ma'am, can you state your name?
My name is Kathy Miller, and I'm the current president of the 29 Palms Art Gallery.
All right, thank you.
We went almost 2 years with no heating or air conditioning in the building. And so that was really tough on not only the artwork that was in there. We have some original John Hiltons, and it's very important that those are kept at good temperatures. Hillary let us know that we also have a leaky roof going on. We just replaced the HVACs on the roof, and that was $17,000. Came out of our savings account. We had been saving for 2 years, and we managed to save about $8,000 of that. So we just went ahead and pulled it out, and we hoped that we could make up the difference before the end of our year, which is March 31st. And so we were hoping to come up with some extra money, so we put together this dinner, and it's a fundraising benefit to kind of replace some of these monies that we have. We also are having issues with our sunshade, where the water comes and then it stops, and then the wood on the roof is rotting. So it's where, if you ever come to any of our events there and you're underneath that shade canopy, or if it's rainy or windy, you're in the sun and you're getting it wet. So it makes it really difficult. And we are holding 3 major art events at that facility, and they bring in a lot of people from out of the area. This time of the year, we get probably 50% of our visitors are from out of the area that are staying at local hotels. So it's very important that the heating is working, the air conditioning is working, and when we have our classes outside, that the kids and the adults are not sitting in the sun. So that's why we're doing this event, trying to raise the money.
Yes, what Councilman Scott, we were looking at is, yes, you bring in events, and this was to help you with your events, and
Correct.
how you do it is up to you, but that's why we wanted to allocate $10,000.
We appreciate that very much.
All right. Anyone else from the public? Nope. Closing. Back to staff.
I make a motion that we allocate $10,000 to the Twin Palms Art Gallery Gala Dinner and $5,000 to Sky's the Limit Observatory and Nature Center ongoing programs.
Second.
Councilmember Scott?
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klink?
Aye.
Mayor Buildering?
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Future council initiated items? That's not on. We're all good.
I do.
You got one? Okay, good.
Yeah, I got a couple. Yeah, I'd like to have a discussion about the a grant that's now open, the Environmental and Climate Justice Community Change Grant Program. It has potential to bring in a lot of revenue for environmental infrastructure.
Second.
Thank you. And I have one more also brought by a constituent of mine. They would like us to have a discussion around programming for high schoolers at our park. I guess ninth graders are aged out of our youth programs, and so they want to have a discussion around that.
They can come to public
Second.
comment. Tell them to come to public comments.
They do.
And tell us what they want.
We good? Did you get it? We good? Listen.
Oh, I interrupted. Oh.
All right. Public comments. This is the time for the public to address the city council on issues within the jurisdiction of the city council that is not on this agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall not consist of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during their comments. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per person. If you haven't already done so, please fill out a name and address slips and give it to the city clerk. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. Public comments on the specific agenda items will be deferred until consideration of the item on the agenda. And we have a lot. Before I call someone up, I have a letter to read. And my apologies, I misplaced this letter from the last meeting, so I'm reading it from the last one. Mr. Mayor and City Council members, thank you for allowing me this time. I would like to address the issue of land, formerly Yonder, and their efforts to build a 152-acre glamping site in Indian Cove. I have two primary concerns. 1, in order for a conditional use permit to be granted, this project rezoning would be required. The land is currently zoned as a residential. I find it objectable of land would be profiting from such an arrangement. With so much discussion about the lack of availability of affordable housing in California, our community should not give up this resource in favor of a commercial endeavor. 2, I question the location of the project. Of land states that it will minimize this impact of the area, but with 130 cabins, an outdoor movie screen, soft background music, playing from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., and not 1 but 2 lodges, there will indeed be disruptions to the neighborhood regardless of their alleged mitigation. Why build here? There are plenty of commercially zoned property in the city of land should look at. I hope the City Council will keep my concerns in mind as the community considers the implication of land's proposal. Thank you. John Tally Jones, 29 Palms. And first one, the lead off. Melissa Grizzy, did I say it right? Grizzy?
My name is Melissa Grissy. I'm a full-time resident of 29 Palms. I'm here today to state my opposition to the Yonder project, Yonder Offland project. I have significant concerns about the location, size, and impact of this project. Indian Cove is a residential neighborhood. It's not zoned for hotels or commercial projects. Hotels have no place in a residential neighborhood, particularly a neighborhood that borders a national park. My concerns include the noise which will be generated by a resort. This is a small residential area and was not built, planned, or structured to implement commercial properties and resorts, with houses so close to the proposed site and an area where noise travels so freely. This noise level that would be generated by the resort is unacceptable for this rural community. Please consider the environmental impact of a resort in the proposed area. We know they plan to construct 130 cabins for 4 guests each. This, at a minimum, is 130 extra cars daily in the Indian Cove neighborhood, and that does not include if multiple guests drive separately and cars for staff. They're also planning for an outdoor movie theater, pool, and restaurant, and 12,000 square feet of employee housing. This is a devastating amount of development. This area is a crucial wildlife habitat for our desert animals and buffers a national park. Construction of a commercial resort in this area would forever alter our desert environment. The environmental impact of this project is devastating. I was one of the many Indian Cove neighbors who attended Yonder's community meeting. A company rep gave a prepared speech to the standing room only audience. When it was time for questions, he told the group he would not take questions. He refused a group of community members that included the elderly, veterans, active duty service members, government employees, small business owners, and lifelong residents. Instead, he said we could visit the table set up in the back, individually manned by Yonder staff, because in his very words, Yonder's strategy is to divide and conquer. Does this sound like a company we want building a resort in our neighborhood? When I visited the table manned by the Yonder staff, I inquired why they were not building their proposed resort project in downtown 29, a commercial district. Their answer, there are no sites big enough. So instead, they are taking a project too big for a commercial district to a small rural neighborhood. How is their problem now our problem? I also voiced my opposition to this project to Yonder staff. I was told because of my opposition, this conversation is over. Again, does this sound like a company that is going to consider the best interest of our community? They won't even allow local residents to state their concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I butcher this last name. Mr. Travis Pashan? Poston. Man, jack that one up.
Good evening. Thanks for your time. I just want to just throw out some basic numbers and this is in opposition to this Yonder Offland project as well. It seems redundant to offer this in light of the I think, maybe I got this number wrong, but I think we have 800 or maybe more vacation rentals. I think it was something like 800 Airbnbs and maybe a couple more. No? Okay. Not in 29. Oh.
Not even 460.
460, that's vacation rentals total. So, and then we also have, roughly 10 hotels, not including the new proposed Hilton. We have glamping, which is what I think that they're calling this. We have a yurt village. We have an RV park that's not that much farther down the road. And so I guess to me, this just seems almost like a cute idea. I think if this was, if this was somebody maybe local trying to put this together, but they have these, it almost seems like a pet project. They're just trying to put together and throwing them outside national parks and calling it a destination. But here the destination is the park, and then everything else is kind of neighborhoods. And to echo what Melissa said, put this in a commercial zone. I live in Indian Cove, and so I'm concerned about my property values. I'm concerned about the light. I don't know how noisy it would be, but it's just my overall concern is it's a nice swath of unobstructed land and nice land, and I don't understand why these guys just get to come in and turn it into their project. We have hotels already, plenty of beds, and so yeah, I don't know. I just want to get up here and say that I'm against it, and throwing my voice into that. So thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Benjamin Golit? He leave? Okay. Okay. Thank you. City manager's update.
I have a couple of things. Lucky Park Ball Field light replacement project, 28 poles taken out, 24 replacements, new style of LED wraparound lights. Will create a significant savings in usage and maintenance costs, but we got a problem. The fields at Lucky Park are going to be out of use from the 1st of June until the end of August. So they're going to be
summer co-ed softball.
right.
No, Little League.
Also,
All-Stars.
Pacific Clinics in the LPAC at Lucky Park on Tuesdays afternoons. They offer counseling service for retired veterans, active duty military, and their families. You can make an appointment by going online to Pacific Clinics. Something that Councilmember Mintz helped get started down there. The spring community cleanup is going to be on Saturday, March 30th. I'll have additional information at the next council meeting. It's just got put together, but it's when Burtec comes with all the dumpsters down by Lucky Park and has a pickup. The basketball court resurfacing project is starting the second week of March. Lucky Park will once again have a tennis court, and it'll also be able to be, it'll be striped for pickleball, and that should be done before June. That's my updates.
On the March 30th cleanup, if they're doing hazmat and paint and tires? Or
That's why I'm going to have to get back to you. I don't know about Matt. It was going to be on the 24th, and we realized we had a conflict. So we have to be sure that Burtec can, be sure that Burtec can still do everything that they were going to do. They, we were going to have shredding, mattresses, all electronics, but those are different vehicles, and they might be promised somewhere else. So we'll know in the next day or two what we'll have completed. Right. I guess we forgot that the carnivals park all their trailers right there where we do all the trash.
Mm-hmm.
So the carnival wouldn't be in a way.
It's like that. All right. So before we go on to adjourn to the closed session, I forgot about this. Want to wish my youngest a happy birthday on Saturday, and good luck to the parents and all the All-Stars representing our city on the way to Needles this weekend and on the March Madness for them. Also, when we adjourn to the closed session, we'll be locking the doors for security purposes. If you wish to stay here for after, you can, but the doors will be locked. And we may be an hour, 2 hours, so just letting you know if you want to leave. Once I adjourn, you got about 5 minutes to vacate before we lock the doors, so just giving you a heads up. So if you're locked in, you're locked in. So I'm not saying you don't got to leave, but you can't stay here too long. All right, we good? All right, so I adjourn this to closed session.